G'day Raiders family, Burkey here and welcome to my round 9 top 10 versus the Dogs. Guys, sorry about the last couple of weeks, been away with a bit of work and the like, but look, good to be back on deck for what's really shaping up already after round 9 as a pivotal game for our season. To be safe, to be honest, I've got to be that brutal. These are the games that the start of the year, if we got to round 9, 6 o'clock at home on a Friday night, you'd pick us for sure, but we're no certainty today at all. So it's just one of those absolute must wins that we just got to get the 2 points for. And no matter what we do and how we do it, we just got to get the chocolates tonight and get our season back on track. Doesn't help either that the Bulldogs had that win last week against the Roosters. Those sorts of wins against a blue ribbon side like the Roosters really does a lot for your confidence. So they're going to be pumped, Bulldogs. They certainly would have no fear after that win coming down to Canberra, particularly with a shorter turnaround they had. They would have been really pumped up at training. So it's a real danger game for us, and one that if we don't start well, don't start with enthusiasm and passion, we could be really under the pump early and be fighting to get the 2 point at the end of the game. So watching the Bulldogs last week, a couple of things I noticed particularly, and I'm going to know them in my top 3 here. It's predominantly most of their new signings. So I'm going to start with Matt Dufty, who really is a linchpin around their attack, floats left and right. The big thing with Dufty, while small in stature, he's got enormous speed, and his cutout passes are fantastic, rightly or wrongly, particularly to his wingers, which will be Nate and Addo Carr. So our centres, Jared and Matt Tomoko, really have to be on their mettle with Dufty's cutout pass. He usually, when he comes into the line with a cutout pass, he will hit the winger. So, if our wingers jam in, they've got to make sure that they really nail Dufty as quickly as possible before he gets the pass away. Dufty is while safe under the high ball, he is a small body. So the one positive we do have is with our kicks to him, he's easily, hopefully, picked up and transported back 5-10 metres. So we do have a plus there. But Dufty's really dangerous in broken play and really, really dangerous with set plays, hitting the wide winger with a cutout ball in front of our centre. So if our wingers jam in, we've got to make sure that we really read the play well and those inside guys try and lock Dufty down. I've gone for Matt Burton at number 2. Whilst not setting the world on fire with his attack, it's his kicking game that's really critical. His spiral bombs particularly. I expect with Shan's not being in the most confident form, and I'll come to that later, that he's really going to test out Shan's with a lot of spiral bombs. Shan's has been a bit edgy this year with that in particular. So I think the Dogs will really will really pinpoint his uneasiness at the moment at the back. It's a confidence thing, this type of thing. Shan's can turn it around with a couple of really solid takes tonight, but I think it's something the Dogs will certainly test early. Burton's got a massive boot, so the Dogs' plan of attack, I think, with his kicking game will be long to our corners, early in the tackle count. The way we're making errors at the moment, particularly, the Dogs will fancy themselves in defence to get an error out of us inside our own half. I think that's going to be their methodology. I think they'll kick a lot earlier than they usually do. So we've got to try and get pressure on Burton from the markers inside. Burton's a left footer, so he'll play the left-hand side of Canterbury's ruck, our right side defence. So particularly the likes of Schneider, Hudson Young, those types of guys have got to get up quickly and put pressure on Burton before he gets the kick away. Pangai and Vaughan, joint number 3. That's the muscle in their pack. They'll play big minutes. Pangai in particular last week was pretty destructive on those edges and gets a flick pass offload. Pangai does have errors in him. And he usually likes to get he's easily frustrated as well. So we can get some errors early from him. He's a confidence player. It may keep him quiet for the night. Vaughan in particular will do a lot of those meaty runs, ex-Canberra guy. We know what he brings to the table. He'll try and run wide, but come down behind our markers. So we've got to make sure our markers move, and we've got to make sure the edge defenders either side of the marker, when Vaughan's got the ball in particular, tighten up behind that ruck area. Otherwise, he can be prone to making a hell of a lot of meters if we don't move up quickly and stop his momentum. So let's go to us. I've gone jointly number 4, Matt Frawley and Jared Croker. Yes, it is great news that Jared's back this week. However, and the big however is he's now got a new 5'8" partner. Whilst Frawley's been playing in the lower grades with Jack, so there is some combination there. The step from Mounties to A grades, a big one. Jack's not there, so it's usually Jack and Jared on that left edge. So Frawley's not going to make a lot of the attack that Jack does, obviously. So Frawley and Jared really have to be just very basic tonight. They can't try too many fancy things because they just don't have, Jared doesn't really have that A grade, those A grade legs at the moment with what the intensity of the game is going to be like and the speed, and the same with Frawley. So they're brand new in this level tonight. Whilst they've played it before, agreed, but it's a brand new combo, and they've got probably better players on their inside that are really going to make it difficult for them on the other side, Pangai on an edge and the like. So while it's great news, it is going to be a situation where they've just got to hang tough and play just basic, no-frills football. Frawley's kicking game in particular will take a lot off Schneider, which is one good thing. But he's got to try and get repeat sets of 6 as much as possible. I like Adam Elliott as hooker number 5. While not the most fantastic hooker, he does bring in some more solidness in our defence around the rucks. He's a bigger body than Tommy Starling. So I'm really liking the Adam Elliott experiment. First time there last week against his old club. All those really good points, I think, can point to him having a really solid outing tonight in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game. I've gone for Tom Starling at number 6. I think it's there for all to see now with Josh Hodgson out, just the difference by Tom starting compared to coming on after 20 minutes. It's chalk and cheese. Tom is explosive. For him to run the full 80 with the type of speed he plays, it's a big ask, and also to run the side. So at least with Adam Elliott, it's going to take the sting out of the game initially, and then Tom can come on and do his magic. But I think we can see that we've got to have a backup to Tom in the side in some way, shape or form, just to take that early punch out of the opposition. Shans, I've gone for number 7. It's good to see him back starting. He's going to be fresh. He's played 15 minutes the last 3 weeks, so he's certainly going to be up and about. Shans, once again, just has to stick to basics with his play, sniffing around the ruck, good strong carries, first or second tackle after a kick return. Just those real basics can really lift your confidence quite quickly. He doesn't have to overplay his hand. Obviously, as I said, Canterbury are really going to try and bomb him, try and get him off his game a little bit. But Shans just need to mentally stay tough with what he's doing and just make sure that he does all those little things right. The talk at the back is so important for a fullback. His cover in defence. There's just those types of things lift him and can lift the team. Harawira and Hudson Young I've gone as joint number 8s. I'd be surprised, and probably will, if Harawira does actually start off the bench or actually starts the game. But I think those two guys on the edges will really be important to get and beat Pangai and Corey Waddell. I think once again, with no Jack, particularly on that left edge, these types of guys really need to step up and take a load of our attack that's going to try and fall to Matt Frawley and to Brad Schneider. So I think these guys are pivotal for us to get the 2 points tonight if we can get our attack gelling. I've gone for Ryan Sutton at number 9. I just feel that his starchness and his toughness is going to be really important tonight around that middle area. Luke Thompson, Paul Vaughan, Josh Jackson, they like to get into a bit of a grind. I think Ryan Sutton does that type of role very well as his link play to get the attack moving out the back to Schneider, to Frawley, onto the edges and so on. But I like Ryan Sutton at 13. I think he just adds some real stiffness to the way we play our game. Number 10, I've gone to the bench, which, just hasn't measured up this year at all. I don't know why. Like I'm looking at the bench tonight, you know, Tommy, Corey Harrell, Wiranora, who I think will start, Sebastian, Chris and Horsburgh. Be fairness on Sebastian, I think it's his first, maybe second game this year. Horsburgh's just got to have a massive game again. But once again, I've said this before, the big thing with bench players is, as Ricky said, they've got to come on and take over who they're replacing and lift that intensity another notch. It can't go down another notch. It's got to be lifted and drag the players around you in a vacuum to also take it to another level with our style of play. So I just hope our bench can really match it tonight and bring extra impact with what they're doing in attack and defence. So, guys, that's it for the top 10. As always, I thank you for your support. You can hit me up on Facebook for a chat, Twitter, hook into my YouTube channel, subscribe to there to see these videos and get alerts on a regular basis. Looking forward to tonight's game, guys. Critical that we get these 2 points. And as always, this is Berkey, Bleed Green out.